The city skyline, usually a beacon of ambition and dreams, was shrouded in a different kind of darkness tonight. A single life extinguished in the cold embrace of an alleyway had sent ripples of fear through the heart of the metropolis. Mr. Harrison, a kind, elderly bookstore owner, known for his warm smile and endless stories, was gone. The news hit the neighborhood like a physical blow, leaving a void that felt impossible to fill. Who would do such a thing, and why? Detective Miles Corrigan stood at the rain-slick entrance to the alley, the city lights reflecting off his weary face. This wasn't just another case file for him. Mr. Harrison had been a fixture of his own childhood. He remembered spending hours in that bookstore, lost in worlds of fantasy and adventure, with the old man occasionally offering a gentle recommendation. Now, the final chapter of Harrison's life had been brutally written, and it was Miles's duty to find the author. The forensics team worked silently under the harsh glow of portable lamps, their every move precise, every piece of evidence a potential key. A single muddy footprint near the body, a wallet surprisingly untouched, and a rare, antique book lying open pages down in a puddle. The scene was a puzzle of contradictions. Robbery seemed unlikely, which only deepened the mystery. Miles's jaw tightened. This was personal. He vowed, under the watchful, indifferent eyes of the city's skyscrapers, that he would not rest until justice was served. Meanwhile, across town, a figure darted through the shadows, his breath coming in ragged gasps. This was Leo, a small-time thief, clutching a satchel to his chest as if his life depended on it, and in a way, it did. He hadn't meant for any of this to happen. He was just supposed to snatch a specific book, a quick in-and-out job for a shadowy client who promised a hefty payday. But Mr. Harrison had been there, working late. There was a struggle, a fall. Panic had seized Leo, and he had fled, the book his only prize from a night gone horribly wrong. Now every siren was a scream directed at him, every shadow a potential captor. He ducked into a dimly lit bus station, trying to blend in with the late-night travelers, but his heart hammered against his ribs like a drumbeat of doom. He glanced at the satchel. The book inside felt like a lead weight, dragging him down into a chasm of regret. Detective Corrigan and his partner, Detective Eva Stova, were burning the midnight oil back at the precinct. They'd canvassed the area, interviewed shaken neighbors, and were now piecing together the scant clues. The footprint is our best lead, Eva said, pointing to a high-resolution photo on the screen. It's a specific brand, limited edition. And this book ... double quotes, she trailed off, pulling up an image of the antique volume found at the scene. It's a first edition, worth a small fortune. But according to the store's inventory, another book, even rarer, is missing. The pieces started to click into place for Miles. This wasn't a random act of violence. It was a targeted theft gone wrong. The killer wasn't after money. They were after something specific, something valuable enough to kill for. Find out who collects these rare books, Miles ordered, his voice sharp with newfound focus. Check every pawn shop, every online forum, every known dealer. Our thief is going to try and sell his prize. When he does, we'll be waiting. Leo's paranoia was reaching a fever pitch. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten. The face of Mr. Harrison haunted his every waking moment. He knew he had to get rid of the book, but the thought of his mysterious client was equally terrifying. The client had made it clear, failure was not an option. Desperate, Leo remembered a discreet, underground auction house known for dealing in no-questions-asked artifacts. It was a huge risk, but his options were dwindling. He sent an encrypted message arranging a meeting. Unbeknownst to him, Detective Rostova's deep dive into the rare book community had already flagged this very auction house. An informant, cultivated over years of patient police work, had picked up the chatter about a rare volume suddenly hitting the market. The trap was set. The rendezvous was in a cavernous, disused warehouse by the docks. The air was thick with the smell of salt and decay. As Leo waited, clutching the satchel, he felt a chill that had nothing to do with the damp air. Suddenly, two figures emerged from the gloom. It wasn't the auctioneer he was expecting. It was Detective Corrigan and Detective Restover, their weapons drawn. "It's over, Leo," Miles said, his voice echoing in the vast space. Leo's eyes widened in terror. He didn't hesitate. He dropped the satchel and bolted, adrenaline surging through him. He scrambled over crates and ducked under rusting gantries, the detectives hot on his heels. The chase was a frantic ballet of shadows and echoes, a desperate flight for freedom against the relentless pursuit of justice. The chase spilled out onto the rain-swept streets. Leo weaved through traffic, his lungs burning, the sounds of the city a chaotic symphony around him. He could hear Corrigan's shouts behind him, closer than he liked. He saw the flashing lights of a squad car blocking the street ahead. Trapped in a moment of pure, instinctual panic, he saw an open doorway and plunged inside, desperate for any sanctuary. He slammed the heavy door shut and leaned against it, panting, his mind racing. He took a moment to look around, trying to figure out where he was. The sterile lighting, the rows of chairs, the uniformed officer behind a pane of glass. His blood ran cold. The sanctuary he had blindly stumbled into was the lobby of the city's central police station. The irony was so staggering, so utterly absurd, that a choked laugh escaped his lips. The heavy door swung open, and Detective Corrigan stood there, not even out of breath. He simply looked at Leo, then at the bustling precinct around them, a wry, tired smile touching his lips. There were no more words needed. Leo slowly raised his hands, the fight draining out of him completely. The chase was over. Back in the interrogation room, the full story came tumbling out. Leo confessed everything, detailing the botched theft and the mysterious client who had hired him. The client, it turned out, was a ruthless corporate raider and an obsessive collector who believed the book contained a hidden code to a lost fortune. With Leo's testimony, the police had everything they needed. Warrants were issued, and the mastermind who had set these tragic events in motion was apprehended before he could even enjoy his ill-gotten gains. Weeks later, the city seemed a little brighter. Detective Corrigan stood once more outside the now-reopened bookstore, run by Mr. Harrison's granddaughter. The antique book, recovered from evidence, was back on its shelf, a silent testament to the ordeal. Justice hadn't brought Mr. Harrison back, but it had restored a sense of order. It had honored his memory. As Miles walked away, the evening sun cast a long shadow behind him, the shadow of a guardian watching over his city. The case was closed, but the work of protecting the innocent never truly ends. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.